what are syllables? We know what are syllables. Oh, why is it jumping ahead? Okay. So, ma'am, you can put your answer on the chat. What are syllables? I'm looking for answers to syllables. The splitting of the words based on sounds, okay. Number of vowel sounds in a word. Yes, what will that do? Joining of two split of words. What else? Okay, regardless of the number of consonants in a word, one vowel sound gives you one syllable. For example, you see here the word start, S-T-A-R-T. It has a single vowel sound. Vowel letters can be more, but if together, if they're producing one sound, it gives you one syllable. Okay, but here in together, we have so many different, we have vowel sounds split into different places, being surrounded by different consonants. So here you have T-O, that becomes 1, 2, ge, the, to, ge, the. But the best way to teach this is, why we need to teach this is because it becomes easier for the children to understand.
Your voice is really cracking a lot.
My voice is what, ma'am? Is it okay now?
It's perfect. It's perfect.
Ma'am, is it okay now?
Audible. Continue, ma'am. Audible.
Yes,
Yeah?
yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
Thank you,
Perfect.
thank you,
Perfect
thank you.
audible.
So,
Audible, ma'am.
thank you. So it helps them to learn their spellings. I found that as a kid, I found that very useful. I could learn my spellings very well. I know the different parts of the word very well. I get my pronunciation right. And the best way to start is to ask them to make syllables out of their own name. Like here I've got, this is my friend's name, Dina, and you clap each syllable. My name is Dina. Dina. So that is how you teach your syllables. The children love it. Once done their name, the friend on the right, the friend on the left, everyone's name they start putting together. The names of objects, windows, windows. So when they are putting the word together, the claps come together. And they do that. And look at this, I've put a spelling here, butterfly, but plus ter plus fly. So each syllable is a clap. So you make them clap and they understand the syllabification of the words very well, whether it's, putting them together or, dividing them, it becomes much easier for them. So I think we'll skip this activity. We have limited time with us. Here, now I'm coming to vocabulary beyond class 2. Beyond class 2. You select the word that you need to teach the children, from the text that you're doing. Maybe you pick up a word from there, and that's the best thing to do, because your text is your greatest resource for language teaching, language learning for the children. Use the text extensively. Whatever I'm saying, you can take that out from your textbook. So let the students guess the meaning within the context. Don't give them the meaning. Don't ask them to consult the dictionary. Let them read around the word. And then when they come to that word, what does it, what sense does it make to them? Let them come out with their own understanding of the word. Now, if you want to give them clues, you can give them synonyms for it. Okay. Various definitions, but don't give the word. Give out clues for that. Let them come to that word, because what you're doing. You're also giving them synonyms. You're giving them more word spirit. You're building up their word family, and you can use symbols or you can use pictures to show for understanding of the word. Once they've reached that stage, now you pronounce the word. You demonstrate the pronunciation of the word. In fact, this demonstration of pronunciation should carry on. They should carry on right from this point, selecting of the word. You keep on speaking that word with the correct pronunciation, and they will also, children are monkeys. They love to copy their teachers. Exactly the way you speak, they will speak, and they will pick up the pronunciation. And this becomes an oral activity, exposing their ears to the sound of the word, and then they articulate the word. Now, use it as frequently as possible so that the meaning becomes clear. Its different usages become how you use it in different places, different situations, that becomes clear. And then encourage them to create situations where they need to use their word. Don't tell them to use that, but the situation should be such where they have no option but to use that word. And avoid standalone practice for this. Don't give isolated sentence practices. They make no sense. They always learn in context. When you put a thing in context, it becomes very meaningful. So introduce word games. Introduce a lot of word games and make word families, word associations, of course, connected to the child's this thing. I have a couple of sheets I'm going to show you. One, this is for classes 2 and 3. You can make this sheet and ask them to give it. Even online, the children can be given this. You can ask them to write their name and say, what is my word? Now they have to guess the word. So you are giving the synonym. You say this, the synonym is this. And synonym, will the children understand the word synonym? Yes, if you know how to do it. You tell them, if you say, ma'am, what is synonym? Oh, what is synonym? Synonym, it begins with S, no? It begins with S, and the word same also begins with S. So synonym is something which has the same meaning. Okay, so it is you associate it now with another word. So I'm giving you a word which has the same meaning. And my word rhymes with what? So now they're becoming conscious of the sound of the word, the end sound of the word, and the antonym of my word is. Ma'am, what is antonym? Okay, A. If we are 2 teams, I'm playing in this team and you're playing against me, you are playing opposite me. A for against, A for, so that means opposite. So antonym is opposite. So you associate, let them associate it with something that they can remember. Okay, you might find other ways of doing it. And now a place where the word might be found. So now you tell them you can find this word here, you can find this word there. And what part of speech is my word? So you tell them, okay, this is the part of speech. So now the guess. So they guess the word and they write it. And now this is the checkpoint. I think my word is, so they here word is actually this. So I was right or I was wrong. They need to check this. It becomes a game for them. But now I have another one for classes 4 to 5, 3, 4, and 5. Here it is, you do it for the whole week, that word. You pick up a word and give the definition. You see, this is a sheet where I would put, your post-its here with this word, and they can write the definition. On the next day, you say, okay, have you heard this word before or used it before? It be yes or no. So explain what, if you have done it, then explain what the word means in your own words. If you have not, then let us see the usage, then go back to how it has been used and let the child guess the meaning and understand and say what the it should mean for the child, and what is the part. Here on this day, on Monday, you can also say it is part of speech is this. Wednesday, they can ask, you can ask them to download a picture or find a picture, or they can even draw a picture. I think drawing is much better if they can do it. But if they can't, if they can find a relevant picture which shows you, okay, they have been able to recognize the word, they understand the word, they recognized it, and that is what they're doing. And here on Thursday, narrate, tell about something using that word. So here that narration they give, and this could lead to a writing activity. This could lead to a writing activity. Now, when you've done a lot of such words, you can all put them together and say, okay, now with the help of these words, are that 5 words we've got in these days, or we've got 6 words or whatever, write something, write about something that you've done, you've seen, you want to do, anything that you want. Let it come from the child's own heart, what they want to write. And on Friday, now let us build up the word family. What are the synonyms? So they make a little graphic thing with it, where you have the center word and around it you have all the synonyms, and then the antonyms also are formed in the similar way. And this is an activity that you can take on. So where this part of the language learning is concerned, we just quickly to recap this before I get to the next part is, introducing English. The various strategies and tools is you can use realia, you read aloud to them, you model and you gesture, I said act the sounds, and you make them work in small groups. Sentence structures, starters, you're already using them. Connected to the background, I said socially, it should be culturally, socially relevant, and you use the graphic organizers. Now I come to acquiring, use realia, yes. And the next thing we do is we talk of fluency in speech. You see, we use a lot of rhymes and recitations, and they're beautiful ways of acquiring fluency. Rhymes, when we teach our children rhymes in the junior classes, and when in the what we might be the Anganwadis or class 1 and 2, we teach them rhymes and we ask them to recite. Unfortunately, children have been doing that in a very dull and drab way, whereas rhymes should be actually acted out with their voice, with their body, everything. It just can't be the child says, twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what it should be. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. And all those actions should take place, because every action lends meaning to the words being used. And something about rhymes, something about songs is that they come naturally. You are fluent, even, when you have a speaking disability, you can still sing. So here, can you just tell me what are the advantage what is the advantage of rhymes? Can you quickly tell me in the chat box? Yeah, very good. With actions and what else? Well, what happens when you do the rhymes? When you do a lot of, they enjoy. Yes. Instant happiness, of course. Remember for a long time. Yes, it's kinesthetic. Beautiful. Use of gestures. Yes. What happens when you use gestures? Language development with actions. Yes. They learn words. They understand the language. Okay, and they pick up words you can remember for a long time. Easy to improve vocabulary, they learn easily. Oh, very good. That is what happens when they learn vocabulary, they learn meaning through action, they learn the rhythm, they learn intonation. And that is very important. When we're teaching them rhymes, we have to be acting out everything. I've always maintained that a language teacher has to be a bindas actor. You better be an actor. You want to be a good language teacher, be an actor, and you find your children not only interested in what you're doing, they even learn better. Okay, so this all leads to fluency. And recitation, when we come to slightly higher classes, we have they develop a sense of rhythm, intonation, They make meaning through voice modulation. This intonation and all is very important. It's very important. And that is what happens when you do rhymes, when you do dramas, when you even read aloud. And that is why reading aloud is very, very important, because it helps them to acquire fluency. It helps them to intonate. It helps them to pronounce words correctly. That reading aloud has just somehow gone out of the scene. Whereas when we say reading, they say silent reading. Arey bhai, why? Because reading aloud has its own advantages. Reading silent for comprehension purposes, fine. But reading aloud for being able to speak well, for being able to articulate the language well, that is very important. So fluency in classes 3 and 5, first focus is fluency in speech. Okay, so what is the relationship between fluency and accuracy? How would you use this in the classroom when you want to develop fluency in speech? What is more important for you? What is more important to you? Fluency or accuracy? What is more important for you? Accuracy? Fluency? Accuracy will happen. Fluency is more important, because they may be accurate, but if they are hesitant to speak, they don't speak. First, let them get over the hesitation of speaking, and fluency is what you need to develop, and accuracy is acquired by the ear. Don't we say that I have learned language by the ear and not by Renan Martin? Language by the ear means that you have been hearing, your ear tells you whether it is right or wrong. Your ears tell you that. Okay, so fluency and accuracy is there. Then second focus is reading fluency. Reading fluency, yes, two ways of reading. You must do reading aloud up to a certain level, up to the primary level. Reading aloud is, because you ask the grown-up children today, adults, they can't read a single paragraph fluently. Why? They cannot read out to you. Why? Because that's been a forgotten technique in the classroom. Reading aloud is very important. It leads to a lot of things, a lot of benefits. As I said, it is speech fluency also. It is intonation as well, understanding as well. Reading silently, reading a novel, you don't have to read it aloud, then you read silently. You're reading your text for example, trying to understand, read it silently for comprehension. But reading loud leads to a lot of clarity also, clarity of tongue, clarity of utterances. And then all this leads to writing fluency. Okay, so I am now coming to the creativity part of it. Creativity, and people have been saying our children are not creative enough. We give them a topic and they just write very basic things. My question is, did we teach them creativity? And then the answer comes, but ma'am, that is a natural thing. True, it's natural. But we can teach creativity, because for that, we need to help them develop their creativity. And how? It is by ensuring creative observation. They have to observe things, not just see things. They have to observe things creatively. They have to look at it. If you look at a tree, you can say, oh, it has a trunk, it has got leaves, and some trees have flowers, some trees have fruits. Fine, finished. The leaves are green, different colors of green, but there can be more to it. There can be much more to it, to the tree. When you hear the wind going through the leaves, the rustling, and the sight of that greenery, what it makes you feel, and so much more. So the first thing that they need to observe is what we do, the very factual thing, is the five senses. They allow their five senses to observe something. They have to see, they have to smell, they have to touch, they have to hear, they have to taste. These are the five senses. They must, make these five senses come alive. Along with that, now let their heart come alive. their feelings. Add to this critical thinking. How? I'm going to talk about that. When you put all these things together, there is no way creativity will not happen. Okay, so this will make creativity happen. Talking about the 5 senses, you know, you can ask the children to actually make a ready reckoner for their. So all this we start as the oral activity. Okay, because this kind of discussion helps them to write. How will it help them to write? Yeah, and that's the next thing to talk about. You make a ready reckoner of the 5 senses. Okay, now I have made one over here. Can you see this? Is it visible? This is for a flower. So they've drawn a flower. So what can they see? There's a little post-it over here. They write the words, just the relevant words that they need to use. They write that, put here. Then for smell, how does the flower smell? Just words, no sentences. Right here. Then touch, what does it feel like? You know, the flower might feel very soft, or there's, you know, if it's a rose, the stem will feel very thorny. So all that. And then hear, what can they hear? Can they hear something? Oh, all the bees coming over there and, you know, on the flowers and preparing to get us some honey from there. And then what does it taste like? Like a rose would taste lovely. You make that gulkand, you make that candy you make with it, you know. So all that, the children can make something like this. And then they write a little thing about how they're going to use it. And they stick it over here. And this can be actually, a lot of such hands can be made and stuck on the table like this on something, you know. I've used this little pot and I stick it here and leave it here. I made this for a little kid, and the kid was very happy to do that and went home and made some more with his mother. For every writing activity that you need to do, you can ask them to make this. Let them collect a lot of such hands. They'll have a lot of, you know, content available with them. Lot of content available with them. And they will be able to use it. After that, you talk about their critical thinking, you know, what do you think? Now here, the questions you need to ask, you know, you're telling something to the children, and what is going to help them think critically is, what do you think? You think what they need to think about is, why did it happen? Something has happened. Why? What must have happened to make this come across, you know, to make this happen today? What must have happened earlier? So they start guessing. And if it was not like this, if it was something like that, then what would it be? What would be the result? But, use the word but it didn't happen that way. So now what to do? So again, critically they start thinking, and therefore this is what I must do. So analyze and reason out. All this leads to critical thinking. Aren't these 21st century skills of creativity and critical thinking? We use them in the class, don't we? And then your feelings. I remember I come from a town where the river Narmada flows through the Satpura Hills. The Satpura Hills, there are marble on both the sides. And I remember in Hindi writing this essay from class 3 onwards till class 11. For us, class 11 was the final class in school, higher secondary. Every year we wrote that essay, starting from 5 sentences in class 3 to a huge essay of about 300 to 400 words. And same teacher was teaching us, and she says every year she would come out, write this Chandni Raat Mein Nauka Vihar. And why? Because every year she said your observation, your feelings, your thinking has to increase. I want more added. The same topic, you're taking it up to the highest level in school. And a lot of critical thinking had to happen. There was no obvious choice, you know, because you wanted good marks, you wanted a pat on your back from your teacher, you better be doing something. So we had to think, if you can do that, you lot of creativity will happen. And critical thinking also has a beautiful activity with it. We have something called riddles. Riddles we normally play as game, but do you know, they involve a lot of critical thinking. You can see what this is, this letters. I want you to guess what that is. Now here, this person comes running with a math book. Mr. Matthews, I'm sorry, but I'm using the maths book. And she says, help, the math book is very, very sad. And here these people come. Why? Why? She says, because it is full of problems. Okay, so that is what it is. We have a very short time left with us. In 10 minutes, we'll be going off. And what, now you tell me, you can create some riddles in the classroom. How will you use riddles with your learners? You can ask them to create some. And they should have 5 clues ready with them to give. This is it, because you can't, even if you know, you should say, I haven't understood. If that made a riddle about a shoe, and they are talking about shoe, but you say, well, I haven't understood. Let them give you some clues. So that makes them think more things about that particular word that they have in their mind. So I have to jump. So here's an activity for riddles in the class. We can divide the class into groups, 2 groups. 1 group creates a riddle, or each group creates a riddle and asks the others. They should have 5 clues ready with them, and they should be able to answer that. So this process will continue while the riddles are on, and that they can find the answers. So which skill do you think is being used here? Which skill is being used here?
Listening.
Listening. I have this activity for a class. What do you see here? And all this, I need to post your feedback form and the link for the certificate as well. So I'll just do that. So what do you think all these questions that lead to the creativity for the flower. And I haven't, if you can quickly read these, I will just go to the link where I have the end of slideshow. Let's quickly, I need to put that share screen. I think you have a net problem because of electricity. We don't have power for the last half an hour, and that is why
Ma'am, if you are at the end of the session, probably you could take some questions, because we have just 6 minutes left.
Yeah. No, I was looking for the links to put over there, but anyway, I'll give them the
You
links.
can post in the WhatsApp. You can post in the WhatsApp group, ma'am. No problem. Yes.
I'll do that. Yeah. Yes, I can take questions, because I was coming to the story part of it. Stories. So stories, I said there are 3 aspects to it: tell a story, involve, and then create. Tell a story. Decide why you want to tell a story. Why you want to tell a story. Have your objective very clear. And then tell that story in such a way that it becomes interesting. You have to act that story out. Involve means you ask the children what is, different questions, but don't ask them questions which will just give you yes or no answer or 1-word answers. Ask them questions which will make them think. Don't say, if you're telling the story of the lion and the mouse, and you say, what if the lion had, if the mouse was not there, then what would happen? Then nothing would happen. Okay. But you can say in the end of the story, you think mouse and lion can be friends all the time? Yes. One word answer. Why? Now that why is very important. So ask those questions and then create stories. Create stories in the sense that, you involve them with their, make a chain story where the teacher, you make groups of 5 and the teacher is the 6th participant. You give them numbers like this and teacher is the 6th participant, where she also adds to the story, because she's the one who's going to actually give that little critical edge where they need to take further. So actually, I will do a separate session on storytelling. Just wanted to share this, folded diagram. You can make something like this at home. You have S and H diagram, and here, you have pictures inside. Can you see them? I'm sure you can. So anyway, I'm here to take your questions. Whatever questions you have, please put them and we can talk about the questions. Your questions, please.
Yes, actually, ma'am, we usually don't teach children about the phonetics or phonology. We just do the rote memory. But I actually want to introduce them with the phonology, because it is easy for them to identify the new words. They will be able to read the new words better.
Absolutely.
But how do I introduce this without the support of my officials, like management or whatever? Because I personally have the thought that phonetics is the best way to teach them, because they will understand how to pronounce the word. But the usual root memory, I'm not very much happy. But how do I club both, and without confusing the children, how can I teach them?
My first point, we are not teaching phonetics. We are teaching phonology. We're teaching phonics. Phonics, just the sounds.
Yes.
So leave
Yes.
phonetics aside. Secondly, how is it you need permission for that? You're teaching language, no? So when you're teaching words, when you're teaching sentences, your phonology comes into it automatically. Okay. I showed you, no? They take a word and you're doing the sounds, like we did that. I showed you that, or the video clip I showed you.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
They come together, and now you make the children do that.
Okay.
You see, you make the children do that. Let the child carry a placard here, S and this and A and T, and then like how we teach those single syllable words is you remove the first letter, you get a new word. Like if you remove S and you put K, it becomes cat, and there becomes a cat over there. And then the plural S is still there at the end, it becomes cats, like we did over here.
Yes.
Yeah. So this is how you use. Now you make the children do it. When you make the children, then you make them produce that sound.
Okay.
You see, when this, like I remember, if you recall, I had that sentence. Shh.
Yes, I remember. Yes.
Have that kind of a thing, and your textbook gives you enough material to do all this.
Yes, correct.
If your textbook gives you enough material to do this, and you can create some of your own.
Okay.
And
yes.
I intend doing a session on phonological awareness, so you're welcome to join that. Okay.
Yes, definitely, ma'am. And I want to definitely tell you one thing. I tried with the CVC pattern that you gave. So I tried with that and I was very successful. So I want to, yes, I was very successful, and I was able to reach to children who were not very much aware of the language. So I felt very happy.
When ma'am, I've seen when you use blends, you teach them the blends, like hugging consonants and all. Children at the age of 3 have been reading at the level of 5-year-olds.
Okay.
They've achieved that kind of success. So, if you introduce these things correctly, you will find a quantum change in their performance and a very satisfying change for you as a teacher.
Yes. And I have one more thing, last thing. I don't want to eat up others' time.
Sure.
Is it okay if I don't go by the chronological order, like introducing the sounds? No need, right? I can
No,
just
please
see-
don't do it. As I said,
Yes.
don't teach in the order.
Okay.
Teach
Yes.
it, teach it in context. Whatever word
Yeah.
you teach it
Okay.
in that
Okay.
context. Have
Okay.
a picture of that. Have it in writing
Okay.
so that the child learns to recognize. Eyes recognize the letters also, and the
Yes.
more your vocal cords pronounce the word also.
Yes.
Okay.
Correct. Okay.
So that
Okay.
is how, and from you they listen to the pronunciation. So
Yes.
so
Correct.
I